Hi everybody, the One Meta here, and thanks for watching me going through my favorites list on fanfiction.net. Once again, for those of you that don't know, I have an account on fanfiction.net for over 13 years, and it has a shit ton of stories on its favorites list, and I've decided to sort them by publication date, go back starting with the oldest to the newest, and reread them, see if they deserve to stay on my list, and share my opinions with you guys. So let's just go in, and the first story we have is Strained Harmony by Sunshine Temple. So this is a Ranma 1/2 cross Sailor Moon fic. Very different from pretty much all the Ranma fics I have, where this is not about fighting or combat or anything. Basically, there's a whole bunch of shenanigans that happens when Nabiki sells or tries to sell Ranma to like a Hong Kong slaver guy, and so Ranma just books it out of Narima and goes to hide and picks up a job as a nanny for Sailor Pluto, who is raising Sailor Saturn in this story instead of the other two. And so she just keeps hiding as a girl, and it just becomes that. Like, the story just keeps continuing where she's just a girl basically 99% of the time, and is just getting rid of her male persona and just falling in love, getting comfortable in her girl skin, acting as a girl, and just being a girl. And everything else is just character relationship drama with, all the Sailor cast as well as some of the Narima crew. Really only Akane as the other person that shows up, and it's interesting. At least it's like it feels weird, like, because it's just, I'm not normally one for pure, like, this is basically slice of life, like semi like romantic drama fluff stuff, and I normally don't care about this stuff, but this is 200,000 words and I was interested throughout all of it. The one issue I had was like the flow of time seemed a little odd. Like, I went through the first 2 chapters or so, and I was like, okay, this seems like, alright, maybe a month or so or 2 months have passed, and then it's like, yeah, we've been here for over a year, or it's like I've been here longer than I've been in Narima. It's like, whoa, when did this occur? I don't understand, because it doesn't seem like the bits that were there were that spread out apart. But that's like a minor nitpick. Everything else is done really well. All the characters are, written out really well. The change is very gradual in Ranma, and it feels realistic, where you can see just like, first it's out of necessity, and then it's just, well, he's been treated better as a girl than he ever was as a guy, so why wouldn't he stay? So yeah, I think this is really interesting. So yeah, I don't know why I initially picked this, but I love it a lot, so it's staying on my list. Alright, next we have If I Were a Superhero, I Would Be by Rorschach's Blot. So I've said again and again, I love this author, and this is another short, like basically one joke fic, but it's not quite up to his other stuff. Like, basically this is like B material of him for me, that's in my opinion. So yeah, it's funny, and I like it's good for a laugh, but it's not going to be on my list anymore. It doesn't reach the higher tiers of the stuff that I really enjoy from him, and there are really short fics that I love a lot. Alright, so next, Door Number 2 by Reaper Nanashi. Alright, so Naruto has an accident somehow, doesn't know, and wakes up in an alternate universe which is pretty much perfect. He's got a loving family, his everybody's alive, dad's alive, mom's alive, he's younger now, but like, he's got parents, everybody's alive, the world's at peace, nobody's really thing, everybody's pretty much okay, aside from like one group of people coming after him. It's pretty much perfect, and it's basically just character drama of him trying to deal with the fact and like deal with the relationships that have around him, while also trying to get back to his own universe with QB's help. And it's also interesting that it swaps between two characters. It swaps between Naruto's point of view and the fourth Hokage's point of view. So we're constantly going back and forth between the two and seeing how Naruto's reacting, but we're also seeing the inner thoughts of the fourth Hokage and how he's like dealing with the huge changes that have gone through his son, what's going on, the stress that he's constantly feeling from him dealing with his family and stuff. And it's just really interesting. Like, this actually was a rewrite, if I remember correctly, which this being the second one. The other one ended much didn't get as far as this, and I just really enjoyed it a lot. You know, it's well written. The characters are all, like, you see all the main cast and they're all recognizable, though changed, and it's interesting to see how just like a little bit of peace and that can subtly change how all the characters react. And I just think it's a great story. Sad that it never got finished, but it's staying on my list. Right. Here we go. Great Hero Ramen by Drakensis. Another single joke fic, this time about how Tsunade really should pay her debts and deal with, you know, when people come calling for money, she should probably pay. And with the ramen company, ends up basically running the village. Aside from the really great ones that I feel, it's a good joke, perfectly fine to read, but it's not going to stay on my list. Alright. Next we have The Dichotomy of Namikaze and Naruto by Thunder Reaper, and this is another one that's like, God, fuck it. Like, it's basically just, hey, Naruto, let's just give him, let's have him meet the QB right after he gets he learns about her, and oh yeah, it's a her, and yeah, it's the stereotypical only men, everybody would only think only men could be strong, and I'm a girl, and that, and it's like, and then they have a fight where she's basically yelling at him and being like, you're stupid, here's the seal, I'm gonna remove it and do this, and like, I want you to be on a summon contract, and yeah, he gets a summon contract with this, and then, oh hey, look, that seal who was hiding, he's actually an Uchiha, so Naruto's also got the gets the Sharingan and all this, and then, oh hey, what do you know, it's like, hey, I hate you. I'm doing this because I want you to do something for me. Like, the QB's like, hey, why don't you make this place a little nicer? And then he does, and then she's just like, oh, you made it so beautiful and wonderful. Oh my god, let me suck your dick. Like, it's basically, like, okay, not that far, but still, it's a lot of, like, it's just, gosh darn it, he just deserves everything, so let's just give him everything all at once. Like, let's have him live in the fourth Hokage's house, even though, hey, we should still be kind of hiding the fact that he's the fourth Hokage's son and all that, and hey, apparently this ninja house was never robbed, and, like, you know, nobody stole all the secret techniques that are in there. It's bad, it's dumb, you know, it's dumb, the writing itself is dull, and I didn't care, it's just dull, boring, cliche ridden, and I don't want to read. I don't like this. It's off my list. Alright. So, now we go to Final Fantasy VII, the story, the third installment. So we get to the end of the Final Fantasy VII novelization that I had on my list. And like I've said before, you know, it's a tough one in the fact that it's not really an adaptation. This is basically just writing what happens in the story and stuff. But again, the same thing. It's basically got little filler. The random encounters are there to exist, that like, hey, these things happen, but it's not so prevalent that it bores you. There's no grinding and stuff. The writing is quick. I love the game. It's one of my favorite games of all time, and yeah, it's a great, this whole novelization, it's a great way to get the story if you don't have time to read the games, if you don't have time to play the games. And yeah, I think it's done, it's tight, well done. It's gonna stay on my list. Now we go again to Rorschach Blot with Chicks Dig Giant Robots. And this, like I said, you know, previous one was B material. Here it's A material, where it's like Evangelion fic, where a more optimistic Shinji basically shows up, and he just always looks at the bright side, and so all of Gendo's plans get thrown out the drain, and just, it's hilarious seeing how every single time just looking at it from a different perspective makes each situation so ridiculous. And the ending is also just like, hey, let's wrap up all the loose ends and so cleanly that we never have to think about it again. No more questions that need to be answered. It's like, it's great. I love this fic. It's so much fun, and yeah, it's definitely staying on my list. Right. And last but not least, we have Time to Learn by Laura Lee 1. So this is a sequel to a fic that I have already kicked off my list. And I basically forgotten the original one while I was reading this, but I started to pick up pieces, and yeah, it was not good. That what I remembered. Basically, in the original, it's like, yeah, Voldemort exists, but the main antagonist, and like he's attacking Harry and all that, but the main antagonist is actually fucking Dumbledore and his controlling policies. And this one is like all about that, and like he's gonna be the main antagonist, and it's all gonna be about political things and learning about, hey, these are the alliances that we need, and here's the pure blood rankings and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, maybe, but it's not, and it doesn't get far enough to even really get off the ground. It's just dull and boring. So yeah, it's fucking off my list. All right, and there we have it. That was the bunch of fics. We're out of 2006. We're in 2007, and next time, it's the first fic that's next is actually apparently very controversial, or like very like well known in a maybe way. I don't fucking know. I remember liking it a lot. We'll see. But a black comedy by Non-John will be the first fic from next week. So we'll see. Hope you guys like this stuff. If you do, like the video, subscribe if you want to keep following my journey, and I will catch you guys next time. Goodbye.